This is way worse than we thought, as following what has been a crazy past couple weeks surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays and most specifically Bo Bichette, we have a wild update that has emerged from a face that we definitely didn't expect to get an update regarding Bo Bichette from. And folks, things have just taken a sickening turn. We're going to break down exactly what this update is and discuss what it means going forward ahead of a crucial series against the Tampa Bay Rays. We also have a few other updates, ladies and gentlemen, but before we get into it all, if you guys are a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys are an absolute beast of the support, so make sure to continue supporting by hitting that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today, and it's not the news I wanted to bring to you all, and that's a very interesting one. And of course, we have yet to get a Bo Bichette update since he went down a little bit ago. But we all know that that is obviously going to be crucial as we approach the postseason. And the Jays start a series tonight. We'll probably hear some more updates in a few hours ahead of the game from John Schneider. But ladies and gentlemen, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, the new Blue Jay, recently went out on, I believe, the Deep Left Field podcast with Mike Wilner, I think it was, and said some very, worrying things. And this is what he said in regards to Bo Bichette. We're going to try and get the job done for him, give him a chance to get healthy, and hopefully we're playing long enough to where he can try and make a comeback late in the postseason, but at the same time, next man up. And I'm sure you guys are reading this the same way I read it. You could see that, second last sentence there, comeback late in the postseason. And we know that as soon as he got hurt, and we'll dive into it all, it was the game where it was raining against the Yankees. Austin Wells, blocked the plate. Carlos Feebles sent him because of the fact that they had to try to get a run in case the game was going to get canceled. And ultimately, the MRI came back initially negative, and he went back out there and played the game, right? And I don't know if the MRI came back negative, but initial test came back negative. And then he, of course, after that, hasn't played since that game, and he's dealing with a sprained knee. For Isiah Kiner-Falefa to come out and say this, folks, this is not encouraging whatsoever. Now, there is the off chance where, he meant to say late in the regular season, which could make some sense. But for him to say late in the postseason, to try to get the job done for him, all these different things, this is way worse than I initially thought. I mean, the fact that he came out and then, in the game against the Yankees a couple hours later, clearly it's mispractice once again. You can see here, this is in regards to Bo Bichette mentioning that he hopes the Jays go deep and that Bo Bichette can come back late in the postseason. I'm very curious to see what John Schneider says either tonight or whenever we get an update over the next couple of days, because we also have an update from Shi Davidi as well, which kind of coincides with what IKF is saying. And this is really bad, ultimately. And it has been next man up for the whole year, but especially since Bo Bichette has gone out. Kiner-Falefa's played good. Ernie Clements played fantastic. Jimenez, not great offensively, really smooth at shortstop. If they don't have Bo Bichette for the postseason, things are in, that's really bad, obviously. He's the Jays' second best hitter besides Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Buck Martinez calling Bo the best hitter on the team. Whoever you want to consider the best hitter on the team. This is bad news, right? No matter what way you slice it. And very sad and almost, scary, because we know how important Bo Bichette is to the team, and this is just really, really bad. Now, the good news is they've been really good. I think 9-2 now would be the updated stat, or 10-2 since, Bo Bichette, or I guess when Bo Bichette is not starting. So that isn't just, a number that's a fluke. They play really well, and it, emphasizes the next man up mentality. But that does not mean that they're going to be better without him. There's no world where, it's going to be difficult, I should say, for them to go deep in a postseason without their best contact hitter, without their best, arguably pure hitter. In general, Vladdy's probably still a little bit better. But Shi Davidi came out and said a couple different things here on Bichette. If Santander can regain his form, he can help make up for some of the offense lost when Bo Bichette sprained his left knee. A better sense of Bichette's timeline could emerge in the next couple of days. But having claimed Isiah Kiner-Falefa on waivers just ahead of September 1st deadline for postseason eligibility, Savage's promotion is another example of how the Blue Jays are doing all they can to find ways to reinforce the roster. And of course, the good news is Santander is nearing a return here, I think, and clearly, Shi Davidi kind of agrees with that and reported that as well. Bo Bichette, he needs to come back soon. Obviously, no doubt about it. It's very scary right now. If he is out until the postseason, or at least the first couple games, this team is going to have to pull off some sort of miracle. And can they do it? Absolutely. They've done it all season long. Is it likely? It'll be tough, right, for them to, win without Bo Bichette. And by miracle, I mean miracle to win the World Series. They should still win playoff games and things like that. But even looking at the regular season now, they need to win the AL East, and that's harder without Bo Bichette, despite their 9-2, 10-2 record without Bo Bichette in the lineup. He has been unbelievable. His best season, you could argue the best season of his career, and it has been up to this point, an 840 OPS with a 311 average. The sickening part is he was just starting to get hot when he went down with injury. Bo Bichette and him and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. finally, for the first time in what feels like years, got hot at the right time, at the same time, while in the middle of a playoff race, in the middle of a pennant race. And then just like that, everything changed because of an unfortunate, slide. I don't really know where Bo Bichette could have went, and I'm not going to revisit the slide and the ethicality behind it. I'm not upset at Austin Wells for blocking the plate. It's part of the game once you catch the ball. But it's very unfortunate. And hopefully he misspoke, and hopefully an update we get is that he's going to be able to get a couple games in before the regular season ends. Maybe the last series, second last series, whenever it ends up being. But at the same time, things don't look great right now. And it is really, really sickening. You look at the guys who have stepped up. Ernie Clement, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Miles Straw. And obviously Straw isn't an infielder, but just the way offensively he's almost league average. The team is really, really special this year. Now, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been really good as a Toronto Blue Jay as well, and he's going to factor into this team, and there's a reason they claimed him, regarding that September 1st deadline, just ahead of the September 1st deadline, and it's because of the fact that the Jays need to have a backup shortstop, all these different things, and he'll probably be eligible, and probably will be eligible, but probably will play for the Toronto Blue Jays in the postseason, but it's sickening stuff, right, ultimately, and if the Jays, if we get robbed of seeing Bo Bichette in the playoffs and this team fully healthy because of that slide right before the postseason, it's unfortunate. Bunch of teams are down right now. Roman Anthony and the Yankees. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You just have to go out and win ball games. But it's way worse than we initially thought. And speaking of Bo, Tulowitzki came out and gave some advice to Bo ahead of free agency. If you like people you're coming to work every day with, and the city embraces you and appreciates you, and you get a fair deal, there's no reason to do anything else. And the reason, and I'll have full videos covering his free agency, he said multiple times about how his last game in Toronto, doesn't want it to be his last game in Toronto. If that ends up being his last game in Toronto by some horrible, unfortunate circumstance, that one against the Yankees, that would be a hell of a way to end in a very unfortunate way. I do think the Jays will extend him. I'm not trying to be all doomsday on a day that's super exciting with Trey Savage, but it's not looking good. And I guess shout out to IKF for the update. I'm hoping he misspoke, hoping things, are rough here. He's not a doctor at the end of the day, but he's super obviously involved. He's on the team. He's in the clubhouse. He probably has more insight than some of the reporters do. It'll be interesting to see what John Schneider says tonight, the guy who knows most right now ahead of what's going to be a crucial series against the Rays. So, folks, it's going to be scary, but the good news is the magic number is down to 9. Hopefully, the Jays can take care of business. The magic number for the playoffs is 4. So, if they sweep the Rays this series, they have a chance technically to win the division here over the next week or so. But also, if they sweep the Rays and take care of business, they'll clinch a playoff berth. 92.4% chance to win the division, ladies and gentlemen, which is crazy. It'd have to be a major collapse. Look where they were just 10 games ago, or however many games ago this was, when they were 81-59. Things have kind of remained the same, and I wanted to bring this up again. This isn't the current standings. These are the standings from a week or so ago. They've held their ground. They've done well, and hopefully the Jays can continue to do well in the absence of Bo Bichette, and they're going to have to in the playoffs as well, where Bo Bichette is potentially going to be out. Let me know down below what your confidence level is if Bo Bichette is out for any amount of time. Obviously not the news we wanted to hear. I'll have another update for you all tomorrow morning on the latest regarding Bo, assuming an update comes out. Santander is returning soon, but hopefully in the meantime, we get a good start from Trey Savage tonight. That'll wrap it up. You guys have been fantastic, and hopefully Bo Bichette returns. He's a beast.